With the years go by, you discover more complexity about life. You discover there's not only black and white, but a bunch of gray in the middle. And you try to figure out what's the point, what's the meaning of your own life, why even try, why to even become something. Do not practice what you don't want to become. And there's thing that you have to learn, practice everything. If you want to be courageous, you have to practice courage. If you want to be strong, you have to practice strength through daily exercises. If you want to be disciplined, you have to practice discipline. All this hard thing that makes you somebody special, you have to practice daily. And it's hard because something in us wants us to fail. It's not the world. The world doesn't care. Eventually you come to the conclusion that you realize something really bad, that nobody cares. No one cares. Nobody cares about your failures or success. It's you against you. And if you fail, you fail. And if you succeed, you succeed. And it's only possible through practicing hard thing. Because if you practice something that not many people practice around you, you become better than these people around you. Just simple mathematics. You have to do more than other people are doing around you. And that's how you create your own personal narrative. You write your own personal story. It doesn't matter how old you are. What matters is what is your goal and how clear your goal. When you realize that nobody cares, it's some sense of liberation. We have this, I think it's psychology, they call it a spotlight, when everybody think that everybody else minds them. Think like we're standing in the spotlight on the main stage and everybody think about us, everybody look at us. That's what we have. And if you notice, for example, when you start something new or doing something that not other people do, you think that everybody will judge you. You think everybody will talk about you, laugh at you. We're terrified of this feeling. But in reality, nobody cares. And we, in some sense, afraid to do something that we think meaningful for us just because we're afraid what other people think about us, about what we're doing, while in reality, nobody cares. And it's interesting, this idea of spotlight, that we really think that the whole world watching us. But in reality, nobody does. And therefore, we're preventing ourselves from accomplishing something really what we want because of this idiotic ideas that what would other people think of us, while other people don't think about us at all. That's what stopping us from becoming who we really are. And I think about myself, and we're all struggling with something. And it's never too late to change your life. It's never too late to correct yourself and to rid of the habits, addictions. The problem is, when you start defeating your addictions, you find yourself in a desert of your own making. And you sit in this desert all by yourself because there's no other way. To defeat something bad within you, you have to embrace solitude, because you have to learn to talk with yourself, to hear this voice within yourself and try to reason with this voice. And when you find yourself inside of the desert of your own making, you start hearing another voice, kind of like Luciferian voice that try to get you back to your addiction, getting back to your bad habits, getting back and tells you, listen, what's the point? Why you suffer? You can come back and numb yourself again with all those things that people around you keep numbing themselves, why you try to defeat something within you, nobody even know that you have it. Why you struggle, why you suffer, why you embracing the solitude. What's the point? Look at everybody else around you. Nobody cares and everybody try to enjoy their life, but you keep persistent because there's something really important to be in control of your biology. It's like to tell yourself that I'm in charge. It's not my biological urges. I'm in charge of my own biology. And it's tough because you know you can lose any time, but you try not to. And you try to keep developing this discipline. You keep training this discipline within yourself, and you keep resisting and resisting and resisting, building something else out of you. The scary part about this is you find this internal emptiness within. And you try to fill this emptiness with something really meaningful, and it's really hard because if you practice this bad behavior, this addiction for many, many years, this emptiness within you is so vast, so huge that it's hard to feel, and you kind of terrified of this emptiness. So when you come to the middle of your life, you realize that, wow, you have to start almost all over again, but the middle of your life is over. And what's the point? But the point is to see clearly who you truly are, because every addiction, every bad habit in us breeds lies that we keep telling to ourselves and to other people. Because you're not going to lie other people. You first start lying to yourself about yourself, and then after you try to project this lying persona upon other people because you want to see them the way you see yourself. And if you see yourself through your own lies, you let people see yourself through the same lies, and it's incredibly devastating and emotionally frustrating because people don't see true you. And the scary part that you don't see true you yourself as well, and eventually you're so confused in all those lies that there's no truth anymore. But one thing, when you start seeing your honest self, and it's only possible when you embrace solitude and fight your addictions, fight your bad habits. But when you go through this days or months fighting your bad habits, your addictions, you're suddenly noticing this truth in you. And the problem with this, once you learn truth about yourself, you cannot lie to other people anymore because you stop lying to yourself. And what it means is you start losing people from your life because it's hard to communicate. It's hard to go back to those lies that you practiced before. You want the truth, and you never build truthful relationship with people because all your relationship were based on lies that you told to yourself and to other people. And since you didn't build this truthful relationship, you suddenly realize that you have nobody and you have to start over again to build your life. And when you discover this in the middle of your life, it's really terrifying because do you have enough time? But that's important because while embracing the solitude and learning a lot about yourself, you find this meaning, this deepness within the suffering, with this pain, within the solitude. And you try to fight your own personal battle, your own personal demons, your own personal monsters. And nobody see it. You hear no applause, nobody celebrate your victories. Even you don't celebrate your victories because they're silent, they're almost unnoticeable, because too much effort it takes you to defeat one battle after another. And you know any time you can lose, any time you can go back to this numbness. Because if you live with this numbness for so long, this numbness kind of distorted your worldview. And for many, many years, your worldview were incorrect. And you perceive reality so wrong on emotional and psychological level. But once you start defeating your addiction, this clarity of mind comes, and you're terrified to see what you became and what kind of people are around you. And you want to just close your eyes again and numb yourself again to forget about this clarity. But the clarity of your mind is the most important thing you can possess. Now I understand about these monks who left their communities, and went live in the caves forever in complete solitude. They try to achieve, I guess, this clarity of their minds. Because when you're part of the crowd, you almost don't have yourself. You have to go along with this crowd, and it's really hard to resist this temptation to start propagating lies about yourself to this crowd. And then again, you start lying to yourself, then you start lying to people, and that's over and over again, this numbness again, because the less truth you have, the more lie you have, and with more lies comes addictions, comes bad habits, comes numbness that helps you to exist, like you here, but not exactly, because to be fully here, you have to be 100% honest with yourself and with other people. And once you start doing it, you start losing people, and you start losing yourself, and you not a part anymore of this life, and nothing is a part of you. And it's really hard to figure out, but that's very interesting to think about it. I constantly thinking about this stuff because on a certain point, you have to take responsibility for your life and to understand who you really are. And that's why I'm personally trying to practice what I want to become. Every day I practice things that's the hardest. Because only what is hard, only what is incredibly complicated or hard to succeed is truly appreciated by your own self, by your own mind. And again, it's not about other people, it's about yourself. And once you recognize yourself in the mirror, you cannot unrecognize yourself any longer. Because what you see in the mirror is who you are. And once you saw your true self in the reflection, you cannot unsee it. You just have to keep looking at yourself and not to lose yourself anymore, because we live only once. And if you refuse to see your own truthful reflection, there is no life but a pitiful existence full of lies, fears, and numbness.